G'day guys, how's it going? Rightio, in this video what we're doing is basically looking at what we should be doing before we head out on our very first camping trip. Now in this whole camp series, this is basically for beginners that have never done it before, especially on a motorcycle, and it's just all about giving you guys the best experience when you do it. So what should we do before we head off? So obviously in the previous one I told you everything that you need to take, the minimum amount to be comfortable. Obviously you can add to that stuff, but just don't get caught in the whole I might need this just in case. Keep it simple, keep your expectations low, and I tell you what, you'll enjoy it. Now first things first, when you buy all this new gear, test it. Even if you buy something that you've bought before and you know how to use it before you go, because as we know, sometimes you can get dodgy things. It's just part and parcel of whatever. There can always be a dodgy product, so you need to test it. You don't want to get out there and you can't cook on your stove. So if you've got a bloody crazy stove like that, or a alcohol burning one there, or one of those that you would put bloody one of them on top of that, a homemade penny stove, one of these fang dangle Duvalakis, or an adapter with the cheap canisters, and one of these little mini stoves. So why I say this, and I've seen this happen more than once, and sometimes you can watch a video and they're showing you a product and you go, man, that's really cool, that's what I want. You go out, you buy it, you're busy and you're whatever, and you think, oh no, it'll be right, I saw it was really simple. But something simple like this adapter, some people, not everybody, can have troubles in just connecting these two together, because there is a certain knack to how to do it with this. Basically, you put it on, turn it like that, and hey presto, we're right to go. You would normally put that on there, put out all our stuff like this. And this is the thing, when you've bought this new product, I mean, I find doing this, a bit of fun, doing it in the backyard or in the garage or whatever. Connect it all up, boom, we're right to go. Turn it on, and hey presto, we're going. So I now know that's going to work when I get out there. I know how to do it. I'm not going to be thinking about it, because when you're doing it for the first time, you're going to have a lot of these things that you're going, how do I do this? And you're fumbling around. You might turn up late to your camp and it's dark or it's raining. Try and have it down pat how to use these things before you get out there. That's the premise of this thing. Even like a wood stove comes in all these little parts. You've watched me do it. It's simple, but if you can just get a heads up on it, this is the latest one. And in actual fact, we had a customer, or they had a customer ring up saying that he bought this recently. This is a fold-out one. You just can't get any more simple than this one. Fold that down like that. Then there's the ashtray, and he was saying he couldn't fit the ashtray in for some reason. I can't remember. Oh, I think he was putting it in there. That's what he was trying to do. It wasn't fitting, and he said, oh, no, I can actually cut it. He sent an email saying I can cut it. So Nay quickly rang him and said, no, don't cut it. Just turn it around, put it that way, in there like that, and hey presto, it works. So that's the point, I suppose. I mean, and the other thing was, and I did this, I'm going, how does this bloody, that's kind of like, it's a bit, there are little handles there that these hang over, which keeps that there. Just simple things. So that's what I'm saying. Test stuff before you go. Your torch. Ah, it's working. Brilliant. Is it fully charged? Always whack it on. Even if you fully charged it from the last time, whack it back on. It may have drained over time. Chuck that on. I've got a Helinox chair. Brilliant. It might be brand new to you. Pull it out. Yeah, it might have been a while. You might already had this. It might be a little while since you last did it, and you're going, holy bloody crap. I mean, this is all really basic stuff, but I'm just trying to push the whole thing of testing stuff. You want to know how the bloody stuff works instead of trying to figure it out while you're there. So there you go. Oh, got our chair. Now we've got to put this on. Well, which way does it go? And sometimes when you get these things, when they're brand new, they can be a bit tight. And you're trying to bloody put it on and you go, shit, I'm going to break it. You know, is it going to work? Well, we want to know before we go. Hey presto, there it is. Done. And I've just realised I've put it on upside down because there's the mesh bit. So, righto. Now I should know, next when I'm out there, I go, right, mesh to the top. Boom. There we go. Now I've got a lovely seat. Now this is the thing. So you go, oh, but that's just one. That doesn't matter. But when you're doing it with that, you're doing it with your stove, you're doing it with your sleeping mat, your tent, trying to make things as simple, quick, easy, makes your whole life a whole lot better when you're out camping. So we've got our sleeping mat. Brilliant. How does it work? How do we pump it up? Oh, we've got a special little bloody Duvalaki thing here. Very simple. Because I've done this so many times, it's not bloody funny. Push that in there. Boom. And now, instead of going, wasting your breath, this works if you blow just from the top. That was just a light breath, and that put just so much air into that. And I know 4 or 5 of those, and hey presto, this will be blown up, ready to go. Plug it up, and we're sweet. If I want to undo it, I just know that I release that, grab it from the bottom, and then just roll this up. It pushes all the air out. It's quick. Boom. Push that thing on, and hey presto, that's ready to go back in the bag. Tent. You've got a new tent. It's awesome. You love the colour. You look the look. Let's set it up in the backyard so we know how it all works. Rightio guys, so we've got our tent. Now my particular tent has a head and a tail. And I know that this is the tail and that is the head. This land basically slopes down, so I want my head up the top. Boom, lay it out, peg it out. Now you might, the tent that you get might have shitty bloody tent pegs. So you might go, oh, these are really crap, they bend or whatever. You need to get some decent ones. Then by putting the pegs in, this ground's really soft at the moment, so I can do it without a hammer, but you might go, geez, that's really hard to put it in. I need to invest in a little hammer so I can tap them in. Boom, I've just learnt something. Instead of trying to find a rock to be, you know, banging them in with a rock or whatever. So I know that's done. So I've got poles. There you go, I've got a small one and a big one. Pretty simple. Whack the little one in. Whoop. And I know with this tent that I have to peg it out first before putting the poles in. This isn't self-supporting. Boom, that was pretty simple. done. Hopefully the rain stays off for a little minute. Then I've got my fly. Now I already know that when I do this, and I fold this up a certain way, that this is the back end. Now this tent, you can use more pegs, but I've learnt that I don't need to use all the peg out points. And hey, presto guys, that is it. Now, I've learnt to carry sand stakes with me. You don't always know what the ground's going to be like. If you've got sand, those pegs there are nearly useless. There we go guys, we are set, ready to go. We can then put all our stuff in there, arrange it, you know, work it all out. But now I know how to set the tent up. Simple. Right, so it's just started raining. There was a couple of things with, you know, obviously then unpacking the tent and how best to do that. There's some certain ways that I do the base layer. You might also figure out that you might need a tarp underneath your tent or a little foot thing so you don't bring the stuff into the tent. A lot of the times I don't bother these days. I used to do that. But one thing that got me for quite a while, and I was just not thinking, I used to struggle when you'd have, grab that, where is it? See that there, and that sits into there. For some reason I used to struggle when the tent was up, trying to get that out. And I tell you what, it's so easy. When that's in there and the tent's all set up, all you do is you push the bar towards the tent and then it just drops out. Just so simple. So picking up those little things, like I keep saying, just make things easy. Another thing is that on my fly there is 2 on either end and 2 on for the vestibule parts that come out. When I take the fly off, I always make sure I take those pegs out when I do it, because what happens is if I take it off and then I leave those pegs and I then take the other tent off and I go, I'll pull all the pegs out at last. The ones that are outer, I've lost them because they're so far out from the tent that I forget about them. I just grab the ones around the tent, hey presto, pack it in, go home, and I go, next time I go, shit, I don't have enough pegs, what happened? And it was those outer ones. So now taking the fly off, I pull them out, stick them in my pocket, and then I don't forget them. So there you go guys. So I know that's really, really simple stuff and logical stuff, but sometimes people don't think about doing that. So the next step after that is if you do that and you set it up in your backyard or in your lounge room, or wherever you set it up, why not camp in it? So put all your gear in, set it all up, and then sleep in it overnight. Get up in the morning. That's really going to give you a full understanding of what you don't need, might need, something to make it a little bit more comfortable, or just stuff like that. I've done that so many times. I've done it with all the different types of tents, bivvy bags and big tents, little tents, dome tents, that tent obviously. Right, the next video that I'm going to be putting out in this series is the most important thing I believe, and that is, you're thinking the tent. What type of tent? No, it's not the tent. You can sleep in any bloody tent, it doesn't matter. What's going to be the biggest thing is your sleeping mat. What type of sleeping mat you have, sleeping bag, and pillows. 3 things that you need to get right from the start. And I tell you what, if you can't get it, if you're cold all night, or you're bloody, just not comfortable in the pillow, it's just that you're just not going to want to go camping again for that very reason. So that'll be the next one, how to choose the best type of sleeping mat, sleeping bag and pillow. Righto guys, hopefully I'll have that in about a week's time. If you have a look there, that's the one bag system that I do. It's a video I've done a little while ago, and I've done one 10 years ago now, or the original one that I've done. It's still all very relevant. Some people get a bit confused that the bag that I'm showing, it's one bag, and then they go, well, where's all your cooking stuff? It's just, the premise is you have one bag and not have multiple bags in the bag. So you rifle around, you've got a bag, pulling out a bag, pulling the stuff out of that type of stuff. Obviously I have saddle bags, which puts all my other stuff in there. So just a heads up for that video. Right, hey guys, remember, keep on riding, and if you ain't riding, keep on keeping on.